Sayer present.
Salvato present.
Figueroa present.
Stakes present.
Okay, we've established a quorum. Next is the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll declare if there's any council conflicts, starting on my left.
I have no conflicts.
Daniel?
I have no conflict.
No conflicts.
No conflicts?
No conflict.
Okay. Agenda item number 5, appointments, presentations, proclamations, and recognitions. We'll consider, discuss, and take action on applications received for the Aided Tool Planning Committee, to the Tool Economic Task Force, and the Planning and Zoning Commission. Julius?
Hey, Mayor Council. So over the past few weeks, we received applications from 4 different people. For the Aided Tool Planning Committee, we received an application from Jennifer Baker. For the Tool Economic Task Force, we received an application from Jennifer Baker. For the Planning and Zoning Commission, we received applications from Casey Watson, Jennifer Baker, and Michael Fladmark. Our city attorney advises that 7 people sit on the Planning and Zoning Commission for the local government code. However, Jennifer Baker, for the 2 other committees, would just be joining them as they stand today.
I'm sorry, do what now?
She would be joining the committees as they stand today.
Okay. Is Jennifer Baker here?
Yes.
Hi, would you like to take the microphone? Okay.
Just vote on it.
Hi, Jennifer Baker, 601 Y'all Drive.
Okay. Welcome to the meeting, and thank you for stepping up on these committees. And do you want to tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
I recently just moved and relocated to Toul, so but I permanently moved here last September. Bought a house in the Paradise Bay section, and been remodeling it. I just permanently moved here, but my roots run deep. My grandparents were here for 50 years. My family has lived here for 25 years and also served on the City of Council and very involved in the community. And I am now here to give back. I've spent 25 years with Hilton Hotels Corporation. I run the East Coast for America's Division. I run assets from anywhere 20 million up to 350 million. And I donated a lot of my time to the Plano Independent School District on community serving on their Ways and Means Committee, as well as president of the board for them.
Awesome.
So,
Well, welcome back to Toul. Is there any questions from the council? Have y'all reviewed hers?
Jennifer, you're highly qualified for any of the task force. Thank you for serving.
Thank you very
Wanting to
much.
serve.
Okay, the next one, thank you, Ms. Baker, we appreciate you. The next one's Casey Watson. She's not here, but I know she's the president of the Paradise Bay POA. Michael Fladmark, you had signed up for the Planning and Zoning. If you want to just introduce yourself and tell us about your qualifications.
Michael Fladmark, 600 Winding Shore Drive, Toul, Texas. Former councilman for 10 years. Lived here since 2006. My wife and I built a house here. We've been involved with Toul since the very beginning. When I first got engaged with the city in regards to attending city council meetings and things like that, I noticed that there was in the ordinances that there should have been a planning and zoning committee, but the council at that time decided that they should be able to do that. I've been fighting for this for a long time for the committee to get organized. I do feel that it should be the citizens have an opportunity to help manage responsible growth and smart growth for the city and have an understanding of what their rules and should be in regards to that, and as a mechanism for bringing those actions before the council for their consideration. So I look forward to being able to be on that committee and move things forward. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your
service.
willingness to serve. Okay, is there any questions of him from the council?
Nope.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve Jennifer Baker added to the Ada Tool Planning Committee, with Vera Bennett, Mike Dumont, and Michael Fladmark. On the Economic Tool Task Force, adding Jennifer Baker with Greg Figueroa, Lamont Cheney, Melanie Shackelford, Michael Fladmark, and B.G. Pierce. And also adding Jennifer Baker to the Planning and Zoning Commission with Casey Watson, Jennifer Baker, and Michael Fladmark.
A second.
Are you adding Michael Fladmark to that committee?
And I'm
too?
adding Michael
Casey?
Fladmark as well, yes.
And Casey Watson?
And Casey,
Okay.
yes.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Kimberly, the first was Michael Demott, second Daniel Sayer, and motion carries 5-0. Okay, that brings us to citizen comments, and I just want to say that you're limited to 3 minutes. If you will, we have a lot of people here. We want to get through everybody. If you'll be as brief as you can. I know a lot of people, and I know the council understands that we have to watch our resources and the pollution and those kind of things. So we really do appreciate everybody come out for this important issue, and we do want to hear from each and every one of you. Kimberly will time at 3 minutes, so if at 3 minutes you'll be cut off at that point. So again, if you didn't sign up to speak, then we won't call on you if you raise your hand. So, and we just ask that you use good decorum and be respectful to the people here and to the council. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go through this list. Do you have the second list? Okay, I do have those.
Do they want to speak when the item comes up, or do they want to speak now, too?
There's quite a few that want to speak now. Okay. The first one is Stacy Farmer, and so you get 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Stacy Farmer, and I live near Key Ranch Road and run a business on 211 State Highway 31 in Trinidad. And thank you for putting the data centers on the agenda tonight. We can be pro-technology, responsible growth, and protect our community from noise, water, light, and air pollution, and also protect our water. And the way we can do that is having the City Council directing city staff to prepare an ordinance that prohibits data centers in every zoning district. Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 211, requires a specific zoning notice to be given and a public hearing before adopting or changing zoning regulations, including adding a special use permit. Adopting number 13 on the agenda tonight would not be appropriate, as a public hearing has not happened. And even if notice had been given, a special use permit opens the door to a case-by-case analysis of data centers, and it carries legal exposure. So I request that you abide by the law and table number 13 tonight. But what you can do is establish a directive that builds on the ideas that you all have already been talking about as a city council. Basically a directive that tells the city manager and the city attorney to prepare an amendment to the city zoning's ordinance that prohibits data centers in every single zoning district, no exceptions. The effect of this would be that a developer literally cannot get a permit to build a data center here. No hearing, no path in. The amendment needs input from independent experts to make sure we get this right for Tool and for the Cedar Creek community. This may be one of the most important tasks you direct and possibly decide on as a city council. And regardless of what you decide tonight on the resolution, I think it's number 14, we need an ordinance that has teeth in it. The directive I'm about to share with you is created by a research team and concerned citizens, and we ask you to formally put it on the future agenda items tonight. And I'll just share the highlights of it. The City Council hereby directs the city manager and the city attorney to prepare an amendment to the city's zoning ordinance and to report on its status each regular city council meeting until complete. That one, explicitly prohibits as a defined use large-scale data processing, storage, and computing operations and the infrastructure intended to support them in all zoning districts. 2, is developed jointly with independent legal counsel and independent land use planning consultant. 3, addresses a cumulative impact. And 4, is certified in writing by the city attorney, independent counsel, and the planning consultant. And thank you for hearing this tonight, and I gave Kimberly handouts for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will ask that we hold our applause, if you don't mind, so we can get through this. Thank you very much, Ms. Farmer. The next one is Wendy Harper. Wendy, you have 3 minutes.
I won't need that long. I'm Wendy Harper. I live on Sundown Trail here in Toole. I have been a property owner for more than 40 years in 4 different Texas cities. Because I have a tendency to remodel and improve every property I own, I've experienced firsthand the influence the city ordinances and code enforcement have on property owners' decisions. They are powerful tools for guiding development and protecting the character of a community. I'm not an attorney, nor do I have any professional expertise in land use or municipal government. However, after attending both Henderson County Commissioners Court meeting and West Cedar Creek MUD meeting, it became clear to me that while these entities have some limited tools available, they do not have the authority as strong or as direct as the city's zoning and ordinance powers. For that reason, I respectfully ask the City Council to consider adopting a city ordinance that prohibits the development of data centers in the city of Toole. This is an opportunity to act before there's a proposal before you, rather than after one arrives. I hope you will take this opportunity to protect our community, our quality of life, and the future of Toole. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. The next one is Johnny Elred.
Hi, I'm Johnny Eldred. I live at 247 Scenic Road. Talk about what does freedom mean? If our communities no longer get to decide what happens to our land, what does independence mean if private developers, tech companies, and political insiders believe they are entitled to our water, our electricity, our farmland, our air, our peace, and our health? What does the American dream mean if people who live here are treated like obstacles while corporations are treated like kings? That is the question before us. Water or AI? Health or illness? Peace or profit? The Cedar Creek Lake area is not empty land waiting for billionaires to discover. The lake area is alive. This is about governance. This is about whether public officials who still serve the public or whether they serve whoever shows up with the biggest project, the biggest law firm, the biggest promise, and the biggest pressure campaign. The American dream is supposed to mean that a family can live in peace, that a child can breathe clean air, that a farmer can keep farming, that a community can show up to a public meeting and be heard. The government record should not be hidden, missing, incomplete, or buried. The decisions should not be made behind closed doors. They should be sold to the public after the path, has been cleared. When the residents must sacrifice their time, their work, their privacy, and their peace just to get answers from their own government, something is deeply wrong. This is the new American fight. This is not left or right, Democrat or Republican. It is local people versus concentrated power. It is a community life versus corporate entitlement. It is democracy versus backroom development. It is the public interest versus private profit. From Virginia to Texas, from Washington to California, all the way across America, communities are asking the same question. Who pays? Who profits? Who decides? Who's protected? And who is sacrificed? The answer cannot be the people pay, the corporations profit, the politicians decide, and the community gets sacrificed. Not anymore. Here in Cedar Creek Lake area, we must draw a line. Our future should not be handed over to machines, billionaires, developers, or politicians who forget the power in Cedar Creek Lake area belongs to the people. I'm in favor of the mayor's resolution. I would also suggest that it include battery storage facilities, because if something does go wrong, it can be serious and difficult to control with long-burning fires and toxic gas release. Lithium battery fires are extremely difficult to extinguish, and they may reunite hours or days later. Battery energy storage systems can create noise from inverters, transformers, cooling equipment that run during charging, discharging, and temperature control. So I just ask that you add that to your resolution and think about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eldred. I'm going to respectfully ask that we not applaud until we get through this. Thank you very much. The next one is Kimberly Strata.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Before I begin, I've submitted a proposal, council directive document to the Secretary and asked that it be entered into the official record of tonight's meeting. My name is Kimberly Strata. I've lived on Cedar Creek Lake for 14 years. This is my home, and I imagine it's yours too. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a resident who cares about this lake, and what I know is this community does not want data centers here. Not with a permit, not with conditions, not at all. Tonight, item 13 opens a potential path for data centers through a special permit. We should still say no is not the same as they're not allowed. Before you discuss it, you should know the legal notice required before this hearing was never published. That's not us saying so. The city has confirmed it directly. The simple ask is this item shouldn't move forward or be discussed tonight. But I'm not here to just flag a mistake. I want you to do something better. Direct your staff to write a real ordinance, not just a resolution that can be undone with one vote. An ordinance that is reviewed by an independent attorney who specializes in exactly this kind of law. And I want to be clear about something else. This isn't just about the words data center. If this ordinance only bans that one label, something else, a battery storage facility, a crypto mine, anything with a similar water and power footprint could walk in wearing a different name. We're asking for an ordinance that closes that door for good, not just this one version of it. That's what backing up we oppose data centers actually looks like. Not just saying it, but building it into something that you can be held to. I know some of you are worried about moving too fast or a lawsuit, but directing staff to write a strong policy is about as safe a vote as exists. Courts protect that kind of decision. What's risky is doing nothing or doing something rushed. We've spent real time, hours and hours, a group of us, going through Tool's own rules, talking to attorneys, trying to understand what a real lasting protection would actually look like. We are handing you the results of that work. Each of you has received a proposed council directive for new zoning ordinance with the needed protections built in. Use this as your path forward to protect the clear wishes of your residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Strata. Okay, the next one on the list is Deborah Thomas.
Greetings tonight to all of you. Thank you for your help and all your efforts and what you work toward for us as private citizens. I'm Deborah Thomas, 106 Bay Court, Trinidad, Texas. I'd like to reiterate what Stacy said, but first I would like to say I'm asking for 2 points. One, I'd ask that you would pull agenda item number 13 tonight. Both Tool's own zoning code 155 and the Texas Local Government Code 211 require at least 15 days published notice in the city's official newspaper before any zoning change can go to a public hearing. We confirmed directly with the Monitor, Tool's official newspaper, that no such notice ran in the past 2 months. The city secretary confirmed that that's the correct paper of record. When shown the law, the city manager acknowledged the item could be pulled, but said that decision belongs to the mayor. It matters. It matters because our lake is an impaired lake, and it's been impaired for 24 years now. It serves 2.5 million people for drinking water. So what we would like to ask is that, like Stacy said, I'm going to repeat it. If you don't mind, an explicit written prohibition on data centers and the supporting infrastructure that includes on-site power generation, substations, and battery storage in every zoning district. 2, drafting done jointly with independent legal counsel and a land use planning consultant retained directly by council, not chosen by city staff, to ensure a specialized conflict-free drafting process, a requirement that any future review of a similar high water use project account for everything already drawing on Cedar Creek Reservoir, not just one project at a time. That's what's happening. We have silos of approvals that are drawing from our lake, and so we're concerned about that. And then 4th, the written certification. TOOL is part of a much bigger picture. Communities across Texas, including San Marcos, Harlingen, and Fort Worth, they're all grappling with the same question this year. As hyperscale data center development accelerates statewide and cities weigh water supply, electric capacity, zoning authority against rapid industry growth, what happens in a small lake town like TOOL is a test case for a fight playing out in cities all across Texas. Take your time, TOOL. Please take your time. Do this right. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want you at risk. We want you to hear our citizen voices, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Next, I have Ben Adamson. Ben Adams, sorry.
Mayor Bennett, members of the council, good evening. I'm Ben Adams, residing at 870 Mockingbird Drive here in Toole, Texas. My wife and I retired in 2018, and approximately 4 years ago we decided to trade the hectic pace of the Metroplex and move to a more serene location called Cedar Creek Lake. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen. The real question is, can it be deemed as progress? The pros and cons of locating data centers in a area that is laid back, rural, rustic, it doesn't make sense to me. The pros and cons have been hashed out in the media and social media. The information ranges from factual to speculative, and of course a lot of disinformation. The one fact that is not disputable is that the demand on resources and the impact they have on the region and community they locate in. When you're talking about resource demands, it's already been proven that the water and electrical requirements are exorbitant, and typically they result in a rise in utility cost passed along to the residents. Those can be as high as 20%. More importantly is the impact on the environment. We'll start with noise pollution. These data centers require a great deal of cooling. You have HVAC compressors and fans running 24/7, and on the larger data centers, the hum they create can be heard up to 2 miles away. The closer you are to that data center, the more annoyance that factor is going to become. The data centers will use diesel generators as backup, as well as natural gas turbines. Both of those are going to emit pollutants. Some have already been proven to be carcinogenic, as well as a hazard to your respiratory systems. Another issue is that The larger data centers create a heat dome. It can raise the ambient temperature by over 20 degrees. Remember, we live in Texas. Come July,
Mr. Anderson, I'm sorry, your time is up. I mean, Mr. Adams, sorry. Marcia Goforth? You signed up to speak on citizens' comment. You have to speak now.
Marcia Goforth. This isn't about the data center, but I put in a public request for information from Mr. Greg Figueroa in 2025 September. So far, as of July 7th, I've got 21 pages of extensions. And this is kind of ridiculous. It's a citizen's right to get this public information. And I will be turning these over to the Attorney General and the City Attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Goforth. Dale Price, you're next.
Dale Price, 819 Heatherwood Drive, and I have lived there for 33 years. When I first moved here, I thought we lived on a constant level lake for years. We did have one drought that took the lake levels down so low that let's see, Dale Price, 819 Heatherwood Drive, the first 15 years I lived here, I thought I lived on a constant level lake. We did have the worst drought that the whole time I have lived here, and Kemp up the road ran out of water. After the water board installed the large line that leads over to Fort Worth, the lake levels have consistently been lower. And the demands for water by Fort Worth are not going to do anything but increase. I lived through the big freeze of 21. I was without electricity for 7 days. Capacity has not kept up with demand since then. Noise, air, light, and water pollution all increased with data centers. New York State just passed a 1-year moratorium on those centers. I think that's the writing on the wall. City Council, please protect our property values by doing every possible way to prevent the data center from being completed here at Cedar Creek Lake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Price. The next one is Glenn Christie.
Hi, I'm Glenn Christie, and I live at 812 Lovers Lane in Toole. Been in Toole for 35 years, for a long time as a second home, and now we're here permanently. And I'm a real estate agent with Dave Perrymiller in Dallas, and also here at the lake, and which is part of the Ebby Halliday. I am only going to speak about real estate because that is what I've been a real estate agent for 25 years, and that's where my professionalism is in real estate. And I've already had 2 contracts fall out because of real estate, because people are concerned about their real estate values here. Do I really want to pay what you're asking for this house? Because I don't know whether this is going to go through or not, and it's a serious problem. And if you don't think your property values are going to drop, from my professional opinion, they will, because people are very, very concerned. The first thing people ask is, where are y'all on the data center? And of quite honestly, I can't honestly tell them where we are on it. But I can tell you, just from my experience, that it could be a serious problem for our property values. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christie. Michael Fladmark, you're next.
Michael Fladmark, 600 Winding Shore Drive. Oh, okay, sorry. Michael Fladmark, 600 Winding Shore Drive, Toole, Texas. I want to reiterate and support the prior speakers and their support for slowing down and doing what's right. I would like to have your permission, and thank you for letting me speak tonight, to read a statement submitted by Bobby Tillman, who's the Democratic nominee for Texas Senate District 3, who was unable to attend tonight's meeting. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Bobby Tillman. I'm a sixth-generation Texan, a lifelong East Texan, and the Democratic nominee for Texas Senate District 3. Although I cannot be with you tonight, I stand shoulder to shoulder with the citizens of Toole and the Save the Cedar Creek Lake Coalition. The concerns facing this community are not just local concerns, they are Texas concerns. Water is a life-sustaining resource, not a corporate commodity. Before millions of gallons a day are committed to industrial projects, Texas must protect the families, farmers, ranchers, businesses, and communities that depend on that water first. Our local communities should not have to fight billion-dollar corporations under laws that were written long before today's industrial-scale water demands. Texas law has not kept pace with modern development. That is why I respectfully call upon Governor Greg Abbott to convene an emergency special session of the Texas legislature to address this issue immediately. I urge the legislature to place a temporary pause on new large-scale data center water permits and utility connections until permanent water protections can be considered during the 90th legislative session. Progress without responsibility isn't progress. Economic development and water conservation can exist together, but one cannot come at the expense of the other. This isn't about Democrats or Republicans. It's about protecting Texas families and ensuring that the next generation inherits the water they need to live, work, and thrive. To the citizens of Toole, thank you for standing up for your community. To this council, thank you for your leadership. And to Governor Abbott and the Texas legislature, I respectfully ask you to act now before more irreversible decisions are made. Because we don't inherit Texas from our parents, we borrow it from our children. Thank you, Bobby Tillman, Democratic nominee, Texas Senate District 3. I also want to close by, in regards to the resolution and the ordinance itself, data centers need to be accurately defined and not tied to a land use or an ordinance. And there are some legal definitions that are used to do that. And so I request the council to consider the proper definition for data centers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fladmark. Mr. Gary Duncanson?
Gary Duncanson, 1312 Sunset Court, and some people have told me I'm the largest land owner in Toole, but I don't know. I've never really validated that. But speaking as a former NASA scientist, as an engineer from Purdue who've been on the board, I've seen a lot of technology. I helped pioneer the software industry. I've seen a lot of people not do the right thing. One of the things that we did when we were doing our modeling software is we did the right thing when it was better for the industry. I would like our politicians. My father was a politician for 26 years. They used to call him the taxpayer's watchdog because things like that and things like this that's happening here, he watched out for the people and he put them above all, growing up in the orphanage in the town I grew up in Indiana. And I feel that I agree with everybody who spoke so far, except, we have, speed. Should we speed up? Should we slow down? I tend to want to solve a problem and broaden it as best we can to ensure that we do have some growth, and I'm pro-growth, but I believe that we need to control industry that's going to affect our resources, whether that's light pollution. You know, I love coming down here and looking at the stars with my grandkids, and that's one of the things that attracted me to Cedar Creek Lake. Okay, we have a lot of issues still down here, but we can solve them. Toole is an amazing city. Let me just tell you, comparison to around the lake, I think Toole is one of the, by far, the leaders. And you guys we look to for this guidance and protecting all of us. And I think our water, our resources, and all the data center stuff that they're talking about, whether they're drilling, whether they're pulling water in and out of the lake, you know, there's too much risk there to trust some company, some big industry. Because 90% of the time they don't do the right thing. They look after their shareholders' value, not the people around them. And you know, that's what I feel. I live that. I have a huge place here in Toole that I could develop something like a data center if I wanted to. But I absolutely will not. Okay? But we have other development we could put in, kids' rec centers or things like that to grow, and or things that help the older community and stuff like that. I'd like to see some of our money later put into, like when we used to talk about, by putting in the trails and things to get our community tighter together. And I appreciate the time to speak to you guys. I agree with everything else, but looking at it from the point of view of a technology guy, I don't like this. I don't like what I see. I don't like the few jobs it creates, the tax burden, the infrastructure burden on our roads, all that stuff we're going to have to pay for. We have a fire with lithium batteries or something, we're going to have to cover that cost. And we have a volunteer fire department. And of course we work with the others, but you know what? I don't want to see those folks trying to fight that aren't prepared. So I would like to see an ordinance that would basically cover more than data centers, like was proposed by some people here. I would like to see that it's, you know, more
Thank you,
complete
Mr.
and more
Dickinson.
robust.
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you coming out. Okay, at this time, I'm going to read the ones that have been sent to the city secretary that has to be on the public comment sections. So I'll start reading those at this time. The first one is Stacy Mulligan. And she says, please save Cedar Creek Lake. We can't get our brand new boat out this summer because the water levels are so low. Property taxes keep rising each year, although our property values are decreasing. How is this a lake community if we can't utilize the lake? Please vote no to data centers and protect the community. Thank you, Stacy Mulligan. The next one is Laurel Wood. To whom it may concern, I want to put my opposition to agenda item number 13 on record and express my support for Mayor Bennett's resolution, agenda item number 14. My family has a house in Trinidad, and a developer is attempting to build a data center less than a mile away, which would force us to sell. The centers are incredibly destructive to the environment and create few to no permanent jobs for local residents. Draining Cedar Creek's water table, allowing county and city roads to be torn up by construction vehicles on our tax bill, and allowing a facility that is louder than a weed eater to run 24 hours a day benefits no one but the corporation behind the center, not to mention that most data center projects come with a 10-year tax abatement. Data center developers will trash tool the Henderson County while paying nothing in return for a decade. Please reject agenda item number 13 and approve agenda item number 14. Thank you, Laurel W. Marilyn Moore says, I am steadfastly opposed to data center in Toole. I support the mayor's resolution. Kimberly Greenfield, good evening and thank you for allowing me to speak. I have spent most of my life on Cedar Creek Lake. I've seen it during droughts and I've seen it overflowing. I've heard both praise and criticism of our lake, but one thing has always remained true. This is our Cedar Creek Lake. For many of us, this is where we grew up. This is home. And for those who choose to move here, I imagine it didn't take long before it felt like home to you as well. People are drawn here because of the lake, the natural beauty, the wildlife, and the sense of community that makes this place unique. This is why I ask you to carefully consider the proposal to build a data center here. Data centers certainly provide valuable services in today's world, but they also require significant resources. Resources have shown that many large data centers consume substantial amounts of water for cooling and place heavy demands on electrical infrastructure. In regions already facing periodic drought and water level concerns, the impacts deserve careful evaluation before any decisions are made. Like many of you, I don't have to read about water levels, I can see them. The cove behind my home has already receded. The boat dock I visit sits in incredibly shallow water. It makes me wonder, if our lake is already under stress, what will it look like years from now if we add another major consumer of water and electricity? Beyond recreation, this affects livelihoods. What will this mean for generations of farmers who depend on reliable water and affordable electricity? What about the local businesses that serve our community every day? Can our electrical grid support this demand without increasing costs for the families who live and work here? Other communities with large data center developments will report concerns about increased pressure on utilities, water resources, and infrastructure. Whether those impacts would occur here would be thoroughly studied before this project moves forward. I'm asking you to reject progress. I'm asking you to protect what makes this community worth progressing for. Please make sure every question about water, infrastructure, environmental impact, and long-term sustainability has a clear, evidence-based answer before approving this proposal. Cedar Creek Lake is more than a body of water. It's our home, our heritage, and our future. I respectfully ask you to preserve it. This one's from Ali Poznik. I hope I said that right. My name is Ali Poznik, and I live in Malakoff, Texas. I'm asking the council to reject item 13 and the specific use permit for data centers and to adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03 to keep data centers out of Toole. We value this beautiful lake, area residents, and animals that inhabit it. Data centers don't deserve to be here. Thank you, Ali Poznik. Susan Gothard. My name is Susan Gothard, and I live in Kemp, Texas. I'm asking the council to reject item 13 and the specific use permit for data centers and to adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03 to keep data centers out of Toole and our lake area. I know I don't live in Toole, but my family has lived at the Cedar Creek Lake for over 50 years, and we don't want this here. Rebecca Cravey, I was asking for a no vote on the data center in Toole. It will destroy our way of life. Gary Moore, my name is Gary Moore, and I live on the lake in Trinidad. I cannot attend the council meeting on July 16th, but I wanted to express my opinion regarding the data center resolution being proposed. I'm asking the council to reject item 13 and the specific use for data centers. Data centers are not good for the lake or the general environment. I ask to adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03 to keep data centers out of Toole. Please see that all council members receive a copy of this email. Thank you, Gary Moore. Steve Ray, to the Toole, Texas City Council, please vote no to the data center proposal in Toole, Texas. Although my family's home is located at 9 Grandview and Star Harbor, I feel all Cedar Creek homeowners must band together opposing all data centers from adversely impacting Cedar Creek. With data centers planning to take 5 million gallons of water per day from our lake, we must deny this proposal's passage. Water supplies are already stressed with drought conditions and the increased water needs of Tarrant County. I see the lowering of lake levels resulting in lower property values for all Cedar Creek communities. Please vote no against the data center proposal. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Steve Ray and Mr. and Mrs. Corby Farrell. Tammy Colgrove, I agree with the mayor. A data center would destroy our communities and our environment. Charlie Terrell, Honorable Mayor and council members, we all have a beautiful place to live surrounding Cedar Creek Lake. Why risk damaging our fragile ecosystem with the introduction of unknown elements in the form of a data center? We have all seen information reviews, testimony, and so on, which points to a degradation, I think that's of quality life for those within a wide proximity to any data center, so I don't need to restate those facts. But again, I have to ask, why would a council member support the introduction of an unknown factor into the community? Why would a council member support something that is potentially so damaging to the quality of life, health of constituents, diminution of value and surrounding property values, and introduction to so many unknowns in the community? Is there something we don't know about, some agreement which is unknown to the community? We need complete transparency in this process. There must be some great benefit to the city of Toole aside from the increase in tax base that has council people discarding valued concerns from its citizens in favor of a great unknown simply because they will contribute to the city's coffers. There are many ways to increase the tax base if that is the goal, but it takes time, planning, and hard work to grow in a way that doesn't punish the very voters, constituents who put you in office to protect our interests. Please protect what we have. There is no reason to risk the quality of life we enjoy so much. Charlie Terrell. Susan Cothran. Dan and Susan Cothran, property owners at Cedar Creek Lake, want it known to all council members that we do not support item number 13 proposed by a member of the Tool City Council. Data centers and their use of water, public utilities, as well as the light and gas pollution have no place in our rural city. We do support Mayor Bennett's resolution to ban them in the city of Tool. Being that we are out of town on the 16th, please include our comments in the meeting. San and Dan Carthine. Larry Pillars. My name is Larry Pillars, and I have property on the west side of the lake. Reject item number 13. We don't need a data center anywhere near the lake. Cedar Creek Lake is a place of enjoyment for people all around the lake. The land will change fast, forests will be cleared, and a beautiful scenery will be destroyed. Draining 5 million gallons of water daily from Cedar Creek Lake is unacceptable. The noise pollution produced by these data centers can contribute to a hearing loss to those living nearby. The noise never stops and can reach up to 90 decibels. The light is on all night, disturbing the normal sleep rhythm. Our power grid in Texas barely made it through the polar vortex several years ago. Those that lost power had their pipes freeze, creating more problems and expense. The air is not the same around a data center. 200 to 600 times the nitrogen, oxygen in the air can lead to asthma, heart disease, and respiratory illness. The wildlife suffers, nesting fails, and the migration patterns are destroyed. What happened to the fish in the lake? In closing, reject item number 13. Sincerely, Larry Pillars. Gilbert Betts. Although I am not a resident of Tool, I have lived on Cedar Creek Lake near Tool for over 30 years, and I am absolutely against any data centers on our lake or anywhere near it. I hope your council will make the right decision and vote for Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03. Thanks for listening, Gilbert Betts. Pam, it doesn't have a last name. To city council members, please save our city, save our environment, save our lake. Approve Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03. The Cedar Creek area will suffer greatly without this approval. Respectfully, Pam Johnson, Pinnacle Residence. Carmen Zach. I am a CCL lakefront property owner. I ask the Tool City Council to adopt Mayor Bennett's Agenda Item 14 resolution prohibiting the development, construction, and placement of data centers within the Tool City limits. I ask the City Council to reject Councilman Greg Figueroa's Agenda Item number 13. Thank you, Carmen Zach. Karen Pillars. My name is Carolyn Pillars. I live in Burleson, Texas. My family has owned property at Cedar Creek Lake for over 60 years. I am asking the City Council to reject Item 13 and the specific use permit for data centers and to adopt Mayor Bennett's Resolution 2026 to keep the data centers out of Tool, Texas. James Drennan. There should be no blanket resolutions for any major business. No data centers in Tool. Rob. As a resident of Cedar Creek Lake, I encourage you to support Mayor's resolution to keep the area free of data centers. The very character of our communities would be negatively impacted by the establishment of a data center. There are alternatives where populations and local resources would be affected. The families surrounding Cedar Creek Lake depend on you to encourage thoughtful development, not energy and resource-sucking data centers. Rob Webb. Christine Seal. The end result of putting a data center in Tool is the same result for the citizens as putting one in any other part of the lake. More noise, more heavy traffic, and the destruction of the way of life of the residents who pay taxes here. This is a recreational and residential area not to be subjected to industrialization. My concern is who is padding their pockets by introducing this to the citizens who have lived here since retirement or for their lifetime, people who are voters and taxpayers. Further caution is that this may be a part of the plan to place more than one data center on this lake. Just in case this is news to anyone, 3 data centers have been placed in Sulphur Springs. Christine Seal. James Drennan. This is one of the areas that Tool could take time to apply the regulatory clout. You came and over the course of several weeks fixed one area of damaged roads and then left. Almost directly across from the repaired area is another damaged area that can cause damage to cars, running gear, and it remains unfixed. About 1/10 a mile to the east, there are other areas with significant drop-offs. I was told 10 months ago that Avent was next on the agenda for repairs. What happened? And I was told that Broad Reach up to South Tack was also responsible of Tool. This is in need of repair. Jim Drennan. My name is Janet Pennington, and I own a home in Cedar Creek Lake in Gun Barrel City. I'm asking the council to reject item 13 and the specific use permit for data centers and adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03 to keep data centers out of Tool. Thank you. Roberta Carroll, we do not need data centers. It would drain the lake within weeks. I say no data centers in our city or county of Henderson County, Texas. Laura Triana, thank you for taking public comment. My name is Laura Triana. My husband and our 2 kids have a family home on Lake Cedar Creek in Trinidad, Texas. We are asking that you adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03 and make any permit requirements as strong as possible. Thank you in advance, Laura Triana. Sherry Mole, we oppose the building of data centers around Cedar Creek Lake. We have all paid a significant amount to have property on the lake and to be able to access the lake. If data centers are allowed to be built in this area, it will most assuredly affect the lake level and the property values will decrease as a result. If you did not care about the effect of the lifestyle that brought most of us here, I am sure you will care about the lost tax revenue, as there will be a massive increase in property tax protests, which will be easy to prove. Please vote no to data centers out of our area. Thank you, Kevin and Sherry Moe. Corey Richards. Our names are Amy and Corey Richards, and we strongly oppose data centers anywhere around Cedar Creek Lake. Please adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution. Thank you. Ken W. I have been a lakefront owner for 16 years. We have suffered many drought conditions in these years, as we all know. Data centers will greatly increase these negative conditions, not to mention decrease property values. The area needs to look for solutions to help keep the lake full and not add to drought-like conditions. Ken Wojcicki. David Jolly. I bought my house on Cedar Creek Lake to enjoy the water. I cannot put my boat on the lift or get my jet skis off the list due to the extra water that was pulled this year. If you go through with this, I expect my property tax to drop at least 50%. Another option would be cleaning dirt around everybody's dock at your cost so we can enjoy what we paid for. Data centers in Cedar Creek, absolutely not. Thank you, David Jolly. Rhonda Denham. I'm adamantly opposed to development of a data center in not only the geographic area but all of Henderson County. We moved from Waxahachie 4 years ago to achieve a calm, tranquil, rural lifestyle. The movement for a data center significantly interferes with that lifestyle. You have read all of the areas of opposition thanks to our natural resources. 24/7 loud noises, level disruptive to surrounding residents, reduction in property values, impairment of quality of life, and so on. I'm concerned that the desire for economic monetary importance is valued more than residents' desire to maintain their current lifestyles and lake values. Many communities, cities across the state currently repudiating the building of data centers. Please consider the desires of the residents in your community. Sincerely, Rhonda Denham. Pam Verner. I support Mayor Bennett's resolution regarding data centers not being allowed within the city limits. We moved to Toole in 2010 with the idea of getting away from the hustle of city life and the issues that go with it. This was my husband's favorite place, my granddaughter's happy place. Let's not lose that concept because of big business. Rebecca Smith. My name is Bart Smith, and I live at 501 Winding Shore Drive, Toole, Texas. I want to thank the council for taking data centers seriously. Please adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03. And make any permit.
Mayor Bennett, point of order. I respectfully question whether reading hundreds of substantially identical letters
I'm
from
sorry.
individuals are not present is authorized under the rules of procedure. If these letters are to be included, I request they simply be accepted into the record rather than read individually so council can proceed with the posted agenda.
Yeah, point of order. What do we have to do, Kimberly? Somebody want to make a motion? I have about 5 left.
Oh, 5 more, okay. Read them, go ahead. I thought it was, go ahead. Go ahead and read them.
Okay, my name is Bart Smith. My name is Rebecca Smith. I live at Winding Shore, Toole, Texas. I want to thank the council for taking data centers serious. Please adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03 and make any permit requiring as strong as possible so these facilities can't be forced on us. Thank you. Mary Adams. My name is Mary Adams, and I live on Cedar Elm Road, Lakewood subdivision off of Key Ranch Road. I ask the Toole City Council to adopt Mayor Bennett's resolution 2026-03, formally prohibiting the development, construction, and placement of data centers within the Toole City limits. In addition, to make any permit requirements as strong as possible to these facilities cannot be forced on the citizens, families, and established business within the Toole community. Respectfully submitted by Mary Adams. Louise Brockman. My name is Louise Brockman, and I own Lake House in Eastwood Island Community. I'm requesting Toole City Council to vote for Mayor Bennett's Resolution 2026-03, no data centers. Save Cedar Creek Lake. Thank you. Madeline Lucas. Vote yes on 2026-03. Be an advocate for your fellow neighbors and support 2026-03. No data centers should be developed on Cedar Creek Lake. Carrie Shannon, thank you for taking time to read my entire comments on the public record. I fully support Mayor Bennett's Resolution 2026-03, as there are too many unknowns on the implementation of data centers across the U.S. I believe Mayor Bennett is proposing to exercise caution and thoughtful planning and consideration before any business is allowed within the city limits of Toole. I do support Mr. Figueroa's proposed modification of Appendix A, Schedule of Uses, in order to create specific use permits for data centers within B1, 1.1, and 1.2 zoning districts within the city limits of Toole. Mr. Figueroa's intent appears to be purely self-focused. As a multiple business entity owner within Toole, he stands to potentially profit from this proposal and runs counter to the large-scale effort to preserve Cedar Creek Lake and protect the lake adjacent communities. Additionally, despite being elected, Mr. Figueroa should not be allowed to propose any resolution or modifications related to the implementation of new businesses in Toole, as they represent a conflict of interest. Carrie Shannon. I have two more. I am not Ken Kerr. I cannot make the meeting. My one comment: nothing should be allowed to go forward until an independent environmental impact study is completed and reviewed and approved by the EPA, City Council, County, and both parties. We live in a beautiful area of the great state. Please do not ruin it. And the last one, Kathleen Mackey. I understand Toole is considering changing your laws to allow data center in Toole. I live on the edge of Toole city limits. I'm a 30-year veteran, has lived in 4 counties in several states in the United States. The area has the highest water rates that I have seen in my 30 years of service moving, and I have at least 12 different assignments in different areas and states. If you allow a data center here, you will kill tourism and see a mass amount of people leaving the lake. This year we saw a drop in weekend owners visiting due to having no water to enjoy their house. It is a fact that data centers require more water, electricity, and cause more pollution in the air. Why would you do this to your community? Look at Trinidad and what they have to deal with on water issues. Does Toole really have the infrastructure to handle these changes? Is the company going to pay for the infrastructure changes and their uses of water and electricity, or is it going to become the city's residents to pay? Do not allow data centers in this area. Kathleen Mackey, USA Air Force Colonel, retired. Thank you, everybody, for all your comments. That was a lot. And so we're going to move on. And I think we may have a motion from the council to move agenda items number 13 and 14 up to the agenda. Is there anyone that wants to make a motion in respect to that?
I'll make a motion that we move items number 13 and 14 ahead of item number 8.
7.
Number
7.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a first by Greg Figueroa and a second by Mike Demont to move agenda items 13 and 14 up in front of item number 7. All in favor?
Aye.
Kimberly, it passed 5-0. Okay, we're going to do agenda item number 13, and I want to say something right here before we call on the other people to speak. And I think Mr. Figueroa wants to say something too, but I just want to say that I think we all agree that a resolution, even though I brought it before the council, and after we put it on the agenda and talking to the city attorney, there are stronger ways to handle this. The first reaction I got was that we should wait and not bring an agenda, and then so we went ahead with the resolution, and then we talked. Then he drafted an ordinance for us. I think we're all in agreement. We cannot vote on that tonight, but I still think we need to hear from Mr. Figueroa and his agenda item. In following that train of thought, this is a learning curve for everybody, including the council. And I think, me personally, I think there's a lot of people out there that know a lot more about it than I do. And as I stated on the message board, I invite Mr. Figueroa and the city attorney and Julius and I to sit down and come up with an ordinance or a plan, to protect Toole and to enter an ordinance banning data centers, and I think we can come up with that. But having said that, I think we'll hear from the other, Mr. Figueroa, and then we'll hear the citizen comments that want to speak on that item.
Great, thank you. Thank everybody for coming tonight. It's obvious that I think everybody in the room is against data centers at Cedar Creek Lake, which is wonderful. So am I. I've been against data centers at Cedar Creek Lake. I live here. I enjoy the environment. This has been taken totally out of context. We've had a council meeting and a workshop in the month of June, and during that workshop, we had presentations on data centers, and I'm a lawmaker up here, and one of the things that I saw was, well, how do we put guardrails in place? How do we stop them? How do we put one more step that they would have to go? So I just mentioned maybe a special use permit is one way to do it, where the council would have to vote. And remind everybody here that one council vote away, no matter what we passed tonight or tomorrow or a month from now, 2 months from now, it's still going to require a future council to stay strong on whatever we pass. I put it out there as an idea, and when the agenda item got written, it got written not the way I would exactly want it to be written. I was more of a zoning ordinance, and I didn't know that we could fully ban data centers. So after research and talking to the city attorney and city administrator, my objective was always to put something in place that would ban the land use of data centers in the city of Toole. So an ordinance has been drafted that we're proposing tonight. We're not going to vote. I'm not voting on 13. I'm planning on tabling this to basically say that we're going to put forward an ordinance that bans data centers from any land use in the city of Toole. Now, what that does is just, we can, and I talked to the city attorney, and he said we can't really put a lot of other guardrails in place because it's up to future councils to legislate what they want to do down the road. But what we can do, which is strong, it's much stronger than a resolution. I agree with the resolution. I planned on voting for the resolution. Like I said, it was totally distorted and taken out of context for political reasons. We've got a 200-letter campaign written. It's really, my stance has always been no data centers anywhere near Cedar Creek Lake. This is a place that it doesn't belong. I've written other comments and letters recently on Facebook saying, there's places to put data centers, and this isn't one. I don't, the letters about it would help me, or I don't have any interest in data centers, and I don't have any interest in what those data centers coming here. So those are completely false statements, and it's just a shame that we take these things, we take these causes and try to make them into something they're not. And there's not even a data center proposed in Toole. There's not even anything related to a data center coming to Toole. I plan on being an advocate for the ban from all the cities around the lake, that if we adopt this ordinance in the next month or two, that whatever we adopt, that other cities use to adopt around the lake area, the county's a little probably more restricted on what they can do as cities, as a county, as opposed to what a city can do within our zoning ordinances. I don't know if they have the same zoning type laws that we do in order to stop things. So it's concerning that part of that project is in Henderson County. So that being said, it's my recommendation, and I know people want to speak, and we could have saved ourselves some time, but I plan on putting a motion to table 13 and have an ordinance that's drafted, and it's been posted on the city message board, that we consider and propose and work on with the city attorney's already drafted one, but continue to see if that's sufficient enough on what our powers are as a council to pass now, basically making it any land use in the city of Toole banned for data centers basically forever, unless another council comes in and changes zoning for them. But everybody needs to understand, all we can do is put an ordinance in place now, banning any zoning, for anything. We're going to define data centers, just like you said, Mrs. Farmer, and say there's no permitted land use in the city of Toole. Now, once we do that, if a future council decides to give them zoning or have a zoning hearing for them, that's up to a future council. So I want you to know that everything is always majority vote away from any city council. But what we can do tonight is, one, vote for the resolution when it comes up, and to show our position, and two, it's my objective is to work on an ordinance with the mayor and the city administrator and everyone on this council to put a complete ban of land use in the city of Toole as of when we pass this ordinance, if we pass it and the council deems that as the proper course of action. So and I know everybody's interested in this cause, and no one wants the data centers here, and light pollution and sound and all the pictures we've seen, and the traffic and the headaches of it, and the lack of revenue that it would bring to the city of Toole. Toole would, if it was Belton County, I don't think Toole would see a nickel other than a nuisance of it, because what the county did with that tax money I don't know if they'd share it with Toole or not. So I'm totally against it for the city of Toole, and that's all we can do is legislate for Toole tonight. We're not the county. We're not Trinidad. We're not near Key. We don't have any jurisdiction over Key Ranch. All we can do is say, what we can vote on for the city within the city limits of Toole. And after my research and after what my main objective was, is to shut it down to where there's guardrails, legal guardrails, not just a resolution that says this is how we feel, but legal guardrails that say, somebody's got to go to another legislative step to get past putting zoning, and then maybe a special use permit, and whatever else is put in place by future councils. But if we put an ordinance in place in the next month or two that says they're completely banned from any land use in the city of Toole, that takes care of Toole. And we can lobby all we want. And like I said, I'll be a proponent of having other cities in the area adopt the same ordinance that we're going to try to adopt. It's the strictest ordinance that we can do to ban data centers, because there's no place for a data center on Cedar Creek Lake, and that's been my position from day one. So thank you all for coming out tonight. We can still have further discussion and people can speak, but that's kind of what I'm doing now. Is if anybody else wants to talk, they can. But I would like to make a motion to table agenda item number 13.
Okay, hold on. I've got to call on the people that signed up, so hold on just one moment. Let me see here. Diane Carroll?
Diane Carroll. Most of everything I wanted to say has already been covered by the wonderful speakers that came before me, but I do want something to be noted and said. First, I want a commitment from this council to say no special use permit will be anywhere in any zoning ordinance. 2, I would also like you to hire independent legal counsel, not our city attorney, legal independent counsel that has the education and the know-how on exactly how to write the strongest ordinance possible. Other than that, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. At this time, there's no other speakers on agenda item number 13. So is there any other discussion? I've heard Mr. Figueroa say he was going to table. Is there any other discussion?
Well, I think we talked about this, we have the ordinance, because our best opportunity that we have is through zoning. We got that clarification because it's chapter 155 of the state law. But I think the key thing is that we need to definitely define data center. Maybe it need to include the battery storage as part of that as well. And we have to have guardrails. Now, unlike the county, they did a ceremonial, they did their against the data center, but it's more ceremonial, where fortunately cities in the state of Texas, we have the ability to fight it with zoning restrictions, and we can put it through in all of our zones. So give us a chance to work on that. I agree with Greg. We have to table it. If we have to go to the monitor and put it out there, we'll do that. It's not a problem. But we do, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, nobody up here wants a data center. believe me, we're no in favor of data centers. We're all property owners. We love living here. It's a special place. And, but we also, you know.
Mike, I think that also needs to include solar farms.
So, again, we'll get a chance to sit here as a group with the staff and define what it needs to be, and we can list them. If solar farms need to be on that as well, we can put that as well. So,
And there's no intention of a special use permit in the ordinance at all. It's strictly a full ban on any land use in the city of Tool that I'm a proponent of, and that's what we're going to move forward with. So there's not going to be a special use permit, because in order to have a special use permit, you'd actually have to have a piece of land that's actually available for a data center. So we're going to remove that completely. So there'll be no special use permit that would be part of the ordinance for that.
yeah, as I said, zoning is the way to go versus special use permits. Period. End of story. That's the best. That's our best defense for the city of Tool.
Yeah, and the only reason this was brought up was we were having a workshop, and like I said, the data center has been a big issue lately, and we had a lot of people come out and speak to us. So we were brainstorming on ideas on how to put guardrails, or what was a resolution or a special use permit or a complete ban or whatever. So it was brought up in a workshop, and because everyone seems to have a heightened sense of urgency, and that's why we're all here tonight, to stop this. So I think that heightened sense of urgency is why, we're not trying to rush. We're okay. We don't have even have a proposal in Tool right now. So I think we can take several months or 2 months or a month to figure this out and get the right ordinance. But there wasn't, anybody trying to rush anything. I just think there was a sense of urgency from the public to get something on the agenda. So that's the only objective here that we've been trying to do, is give people some sort of comfort, right? I think everybody wants to be comforted on that there's something going on as a governing body that we're doing to take action to stop it.
Thank you for clarifying that, Greg. I just want to add one more other thing before we have a motion to table that, and I said that on the message board. I think what the city attorney provided for us in the last week was a starting point. I don't think it's definitely not an ending point. I said on the message board we need to dig deeper into the definition of a data center and clarify exactly what we're trying to achieve here, which is to ban large-scale data centers from the city of Toul. So I think we will just meet and discuss whether we'll hire independent counsel or not. But anyway, I think there's a lot to be learned, and I agree that we don't need to rush this, but we don't need to put it on the back burner either. We don't need to just make it go away, but we just need to keep moving forward until we get the right ordinance that protects the citizens of Toul to the best we can.
With that, can I make a motion?
Yeah.
With that, I'll take a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we table item number 13 on the agenda.
Do I have a second? DeMont, you say?
I got it.
Okay.
Councilman Sayer.
Sometimes y'all say at the same time.
I'll let him do it this time.
Okay, the
Thank you,
first,
sir.
Councilman Figueroa, and the second, Councilman Sayer. I'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, Kimberly, 5-0. Y'all could applause now.
I would like to say, just for myself, I want everybody to rest assured that this council is very serious about this. They're going to take time, do due diligence, and take care of this issue in the best possible way, and hopefully Toul can lead the way for the rest of the communities around the lake. And if they're unified, maybe there's enough force around here that we can stop it anywhere. As it's been brought up, the county's got different rules, but we're going to do our best that we can here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, resolution, agenda item number 14, consider, discuss, and take action to adopt resolution 2026-03, data centers as presented by Mayor Vera Bennett. We had one person to speak on this, and that was Tom Hall. Is Tom Hall still here? Okay, hang on. Before you speak, Mr. Hall, we're going to take a 5-minute recess, if you don't mind. Okay?
Thank you.
7:14, Kimberly.
Before we adopt this, do we have to maybe define just a little bit more? Maybe define it more?
so much bullshit there. Anyway, I need to leave. I don't like any of this shit. Start. Okay. go. I gotta leave. I need to get out of here. I gotta go to that VIP thing for the Parrot Heads. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, I gotta go. Let's go. Fun.
Thank you for that. I was watering at the eyes.
Okay, let's everybody get started. I will when I do. Yeah, okay. I'm just telling everybody to get to the seat. If everybody will take a seat, please, so we can keep going. Okay, we're gonna get started again. I'll call the meeting back to order at 7:21. Okay, we're at staff comments, and we'll start with you, Kimberly. Do you have anything? Okay, Frank. Okay, give us the quick version.
Yeah. Didn't we move 14?
You moved 14 up.
We moved 14 up.
You moved 14.
Okay. Okay, excuse me.
Good job, Frank.
Can I come back to 14?
You moved 13. You moved 13 and
I know
14
it.
up.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's
sorry.
okay. That's all right.
I'm sorry that we're going to stop that and do agenda item number 14. Consider, discuss, and take action to adopt Resolution 2026-03 data centers as presented by Mayor Vera Bennett. So the resolution was in the packet. I realize that it's not as strong as an ordinance, but I still think we need to adopt this tonight and show the community that we're moving forward. So, is there any discussion from the council?
Nope.
Yeah, I am going to get to him just a second. Okay, Mr. Hall, Tom Hall. Okay, if you want to speak.
Thank you. My name is Tom Hall. I live in Trinidad, Texas. I appreciate the city of Toole looking at this very, very seriously. I appreciate you all taking the lead in this because, as you've heard, there's people from other areas around the lake, and they have said this is a community project. It's not just Toole. It's all of us. So I appreciate you taking the lead. I like what you all were saying about the resolution and then moving forward with an ordinance. You've been given information, I think, from Stacy Farmer and Kim Strata on core directives and how to kind of proceed with this in developing that ordinance. I encourage you to seek consultation from outside help. Sorry, I'm kind of rattling a little bit. To get the strongest ordinance you possibly can. And then I ask that we use that to get the rest of the communities to follow suit, because it is going to be a problem that faces all of Cedar Creek Lake, not just the city of Toole. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. We appreciate you. Okay, we're going to go back. Council, is there any other council discussion?
We have data center, do you want to add battery storage there, or just leave it as written?
I think the resolution has to be as written, since we
written?
didn't notice
Okay.
anything
We didn't
else.
define anything, okay.
No. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2026-03 data centers as presented by Mayor Vera Bennett.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Daniel Sayer, Greg Figueroa first, Daniel Sayer second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Kimberly, 5-0. Okay, we'll go back to staff comments. I apologize about that. Kenny, can you tell us what's going on in code enforcement?
We got approximately 42 inspections, 11 citations, and we're working on 2 abatements right now.
What, have we abated any already, torn them down?
2, they're in the process right now.
Oh,
Being
right
torn
in
down.
process now. Okay, thanks. Stacy, what's happening in the court?
We processed 149 citations, entered 66 warrants. We closed 92 of the cases, and we had teen court, and which had 5 cases in it, and we had 3 jury trials.
Thank you. Chief Walker?
And I got 2. So we had 319 calls for service, 231 violations, traffic violations. We had 117 citations and 112 written warnings. We had 1 theft, 1 illegal dumping, 1 juvenile runaway, 1 fraud, and 1 crash, motor vehicle crash.
Chief Walker, I saw the fraud on there. How is that becoming more and more frequent?
With the scams coming, yes, it is. We had the phone scams, computer scams. I mean, we've had, what, 3 citizens here that they're part of a national sting with the fraud.
Is that with the Bitcoin?
One was a Bitcoin. One was the gold fraud case at Denton County is working on all over the United States, and I believe the other one was just one of the overseas scams.
So if somebody tells you to go get them Bitcoins, the answer is
No.
no. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Or gold. I mean,
Or gold.
Or gold.
Okay. Just be cautious. Would it help if we had some sort of a clinic or something on that sometime?
Sure, we can have one.
Okay. All
Town
right.
meeting or something on the frauds.
Okay, I think that'd be important. I know the Garden Club did it one time, but I think it's time for a repeat. So okay, thank
Sure.
you.
You're welcome.
Alicia,
I'm going to make it easy on you. I don't have anything.
thank you. Julius,
I'm just kidding. Where do we start? So last week we had interviews for a building tech position. We had 4 interviews. We did a reference check today. So I'm looking to lock in that employee. Probably tomorrow, I'll reach out to him. I've talked to 2 of the references already. Looking to contact them and offer them the job, see what they say. We'll negotiate at that point. 2 other employees. Parks administrator, I know we have a park consultant, a parks administrator. Parks consultant signed their agreement this week. He's kind of in the process of moving right now. So after we get done with the park grant process, I'll have him engage with us and kind of help us walk through that process and get that going. The parks administrator part-time just finished their background earlier this week. So in agreement with them as well, getting that drafted and giving that over to them. Tomorrow we have 4 interviews for city controller position. So we'll look to finalize that as well.
can you give us progress on the maintenance barn?
Yes. Maintenance barn is going pretty well. I won't lie. Going pretty well. Yesterday, Frank and I go out there all the time. Yesterday, Mr. Frank, and I were discussing the roll-up doors that went in or went up. Right now, they're doing electrical work. We're finished with plumbing rough. Electrical is being done. Lumber and labor is pretty finalized at this point. Obviously, got to go out there and check it. I think the maintenance barn project is going pretty smoothly now. It's kind of just taking its own life. You don't have to be so involved every day. Now just go over there and actually just look at progress instead of trying to make it. That's the maintenance barn. Frank, do you have anything to add on maintenance barn? Did it cover everything? Cool. Really excited about that. I'm not gonna lie. Maintenance barn has been a long time coming. Our park grant, the park committee meets every Wednesday. I will start joining those meetings. We're nearing the end. We only got 2 weeks left to get all our ducks in a row. You guys have made pretty significant progress, I'm not going to lie. So I really appreciate that. But like I said, I will jump in with that. The City of Tool is receiving the RCP grant, Resilient Communities Program grant, in the amount of $225,000. That's including the drainage-related plan that we talked about all those months ago. Mayor Bennett executed that agreement today.
I did.
There we go. Executed that today, so we're just waiting on next steps for that grant. That grant, like I said, is including a comprehensive plan for the city, but it includes drainage, mapping, etc. So that's really exciting news as well. Our audit is still going on. Our audit includes everybody: police, court, Kimberly, myself, Ms. Debbie, our financial consultant. That's going on. Kimberly and I visited Truth and Taxation in Palestine last week or week before last. Week before last. That was really good. Kimberly has to know what Truth and Taxation is, at least from a terminology standpoint. And then obviously we go through our process, right, to calculate our tax rate, our no new revenue, voter approval, and de minimis rate. Guam Street, that is the next biggest thing. So I talked to the engineer. We connected earlier this week, and so I'm hoping to have that RP in front of you guys in August to get that going. I know there's a lot of momentum about there, a lot of questions about that. So the Guam Street RP is slated for next month. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank
I
you,
had a
Julius.
question for Julius.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, Julius, have we heard back from the siren guys about another one?
Logan and I talked about sirens shortly after the workshop, so June 18th, so early July. And I told him I want him to come visit. I know he's in Oklahoma right now. He does does different things. So I asked him to come visit and look at his schedule. So I'll catch up to date on that one. I'll write that down.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Julius. Okay, agenda item number 8, approve the minutes from June 17th, 2026 special meeting and June 18th, 2026 regular meeting. Is there any discussion? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we move to approve the minutes of June 17th, 2026 special meeting and the June 18th, 26 regular meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Daniel Sayer, second. Mike DeMont first. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0, Kimberly. Okay, agenda item number 9, approve monthly activity reports for June as presented. A, executive summary. B, financial and expenditure. C, municipal court. D, police. E, maintenance. F, building. G, code enforcement. And H, animal control. Is there any discussion? I had a couple of questions on this. Where are you tracking maintenance barn on here?
You're not going to see it in your P&L. That's a separate budget. I just have to update it. So going in between, like R&R Metalworks' work is like in a job summary. I have that. And then whatever Mr. Raymond has left, still trying to get that. So I had to put it in one report and come back to that. But you won't see it in your P&L.
Okay. Can you email me a copy?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Park grounds, we have a budget of $4,000 and we've spent $16,000. What's going on there?
Remember, this was about a couple months ago. Arbor Fit LLC, their work. That's about not Arbor Fit LLC, the tree work.
Yes.
That got put in there because it wanted to show on a P&L that it actually got paid out, but it needs to just go to the balance sheet to say.
So do we need to do a budget amendment or just transfer?
Not today. Like it's not a budget.
No,
amendment
no,
but
today.
like, yeah, it would.
Okay, that should have come out of the park construction account.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I have. Is there any
I have
other discussion?
one question. Went past the gas station today and I saw gas was $3.66 a gallon. Do we need to move money in the police department to cover the fuel expenses for the vehicles?
So fuel, like yesterday, I passed by Dragon Mart, it was $3.09. Today it's $3.62.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, our budget line with our fuel right now
Mm-hmm.
was based on last year's
Price.
electric patrol cars.
Mm.
So they figured the fuel cost for just what we had plus the electric cars. So we didn't get the electric cars, so that's why our fuel line is so low.
Yeah.
Year before last, we went over
Mhm.
30,000 on our fuel.
So if you're asking like, hey, should we move money around?
Yeah.
Not necessarily because it's all coming out of one big pot. So like Ms. Vera was saying, you do a budget amendment to reflect that later. Like when they soar past it for gas prices unexpectedly, we'll have to come back to a budget amendment after that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
One other question, 4102 loan proceeds, we have zero budget, negative 55,417.
On, and this is something me and Mr. Greg talk about often, the loan that we received for the mini excavator has to hit something for you guys to know that we received that money. That money would be best to be put on a balance sheet rather than a P&L, because it looked like, oh, where'd this 55,000 come from? But that's how much the mini excavator cost when we received a check from government capital.
Have we spent that money yet?
Yeah, you have to spend it to buy it. It gets wired over directly.
Did you
to-
pay cash for that? We didn't finance that one?
We financed it.
It's financed through the years, but you pay cash to the entity where you buy it from. So John Deere received a check from the city of Tool that we financed through government capital. Does that make sense, or no? Am I losing?
Okay, yeah, all right.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, all right.
Accrue it.
That's all I have.
That payment is also once a year. So our first payment will be next fiscal year, then next 5 fiscal years after that.
Yeah, we're accruing that money, right? We talked about that at the previous meeting.
Have to accrue that money.
Right.
Is there any other discussion on the monthly activity reports for June?
I just said, this is either for Julius or for Kenny. I see there's only one new building permit last month. Is there more in the pipeline, or is it just really slowing down? I'm just curious.
It just depends. I mean, sometimes like you may have a bunch go through,
Right.
but they're in like review status.
Yes.
So like the Groves, for example, has 3 in review.
Okay.
2580. Yeah. 3
So
in review.
the grows are still selling?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just curious. I just saw that because we've been clipping along pretty well, 3 or 4 every month, and all of a sudden I just saw one in the month of June.
So you may have one pop up in Paradise Bay that's like still in the construction phase, so you won't
Got
see
it.
that, but like it's still going through our processes.
Okay, anything else?
Yes. Since the permit got brought up, Mike, I had a question for Julius I was going to ask you later. I noticed there's a slab over at M&M. Looks like 6,000 to 8,000 square feet or something. Was that permitted? Because I
No.
hadn't heard anything about that.
No.
There's a stop order on it.
Kenny, you got to help me out this one. The last 2 or 3 weeks, we've been working with M&M to kind of get a lot of their stuff done, submitted, etc. And I've worked with the owners of M&M, and Kenny has as well. On last week, was it last week or this week? Was it last week? Friday. It was Friday. No, it wasn't. Thursday. Thursday. So last Wednesday, had a conversation with the owners again and said, hey, because they had given every interpretation they're going to pour this slab for this building. Just told them, hey, in writing, in an email, in person, several times, hey, if you pour that slab, you don't have a permit for anything. Kenny and I have visited over there at least twice before the slab got poured. And they poured anyways. So on Thursday morning at 5-ish?
About 5:30.
About 5:30, Kenny showed up, stop
Yeah.
work order immediately. Already informed that they're going to get double the permit fee. Today, BV got back. Was it today or yesterday? Today? Today, BV got back to us and asked for more information regarding their plans. So the short answer is no.
Okay.
Short answer.
Have any of our permit watchdogs notified you that or asked for FOIAs on anything there?
FOIAs? No.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't got a PIR request on those.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So could you put together just some information on what's happened there?
Yeah.
And what their plan
Uh-huh.
is and everything? Because it's completely out of, I mean, we don't know what's going on over there.
Sure, okay. That's no
Okay,
problem at all.
great, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, is there anything else on agenda item number 9, the monthly activity reports? Any other discussion?
No.
Okay.
I'll make a
Yep.
motion to approve monthly activity reports for June 26, presented. A, executive summary. B, financial and expenditure. C, municipal court. D, police. E, maintenance. F, building. G, code enforcement. And H, animal control.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first was Mike Demont, second, Daniel Sayer, motion. Is there any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Kimberly. Okay, agenda item number 10. Consider and discuss speed deterrence along Plantation Drive and Lakeway Estates subdivision as presented by Councilman Tommy Salvato. We have a number of people that want to speak on this issue. But first, I want to call There's two people here that are homeowners that are involved in this. So I'm going to put y'all down at the end. Can I do that, Kimberly? I want them to speak. They're homeowners, so I want them to speak during the discussion period. Yeah, they signed up in their citizens' comments.
Okay, so what I would do with that is I would afford them the opportunity to speak as a citizen comment if that's what they want to do, or they can speak after.
During the agenda item?
Yeah, but I would
Okay.
give them that option.
I think Mr. Dotson, you want to speak? I think you want to speak during the time we're discussing. Is that correct?
I don't care when I speak, as long as I get my speech.
Well, I'm just trying to give you, since it affects your property, I would like
to see what's being.
okay. And then Ms. Dotson, the same thing. And how about Ron Young? Okay, thank you. All right, so that David Moses. We're gonna have him speak during the time because it's his issue. So you don't want to speak right now? Then okay. Jackie Ogla West.
Hi there. I ask that you just record me as O West, and I will not be providing my address for the security of my adopted child.
Thank you.
Okay. So I am, sorry. Need my glasses, don't I? Okay, I'm here to discuss item 10, the signage discussion on Lakeway subdivision. I think it's important to find something that suits both neighbors. I completely understand the neighbors that is worried about their property and the safety and to his home and to everyone around him. From reading the package, and that's what my talk is really just based on, the package that was submitted, I have a few issues, obviously. The signs that were suggested, I have several issues with. First of all, the history of the, I guess, accidents that happened at Mr. Young's location were from impaired drivers. These signs that are suggested, the ones with the diamonds that were in the packet, are made to break. These will absolutely not block any of the cars from hitting Mr. Young's house. This doesn't give him any security at all. The second issue is something called the moth effect, or what some of y'all might know as target fixation. If these signs, and I'm not sure that they are, were going to be flashing, this is a phenomenon, or the target fixation is a phenomenon where drivers, especially those that are fatigued, intoxicated, or even distracted from becoming dangerously mesmerized by bright flashing lights in the dark, like a moth drawn to a flame. Impaired drivers tend to unconsciously fixate on roadside lights, causing them to drift and steer directly into hazards. When impaired drivers spot bright flashing lights, their cognitive focus narrows, causing them to steer exactly where they're looking. This might actually cause more issues if we install flashing lights on the signs. And the other item that I have with these signs is, what about the Dotsons? The map that was presented in the meeting shows that they're going to be dotted all across the front of this person's or this family's property. This is going to impact their property value. They won't be able to sell. Who would want to buy a piece of property where they have signs that are flashing possibly from one end of their property to another across multiple lots? That's going to impact them. If your lawyer is saying that the boulders could possibly be a lawsuit, can you imagine the lawsuit that family has from a loss of income and a loss of use if you put those signs across the front?
Thank you, Ms. West. We appreciate you coming. Jackie Moses.
Jackie Moses, Woodcrest Drive, Lakeway Estates. I've been a resident of Lakeway Estates since September 2019. One of our neighbors unfortunately had 2 incidents where impaired drivers running into his house causing substantial damage. The first sometime between June 2021 and October 2022. The other more recent incident happened on August 21st, 2025. Shortly after the first incident, a concerned neighbor canvassed the neighborhood to request council to have road humps installed to slow down drivers on Plantation. That petition was tabled at the November 2022 council meeting for further research and brought back at the January 2023 meeting, where after much discussion the new council passed 5-0. The 2 road humps were paid for and installed by the city. I'm not sure that they work because people still drive like they weren't even there. After the second incident last August, a dangerous curve sign appeared on Plantation coming into the neighborhood. However, there wasn't one installed in the other direction. Is it only dangerous going one way? There is a lake going the other way that a car could end up in. I became aware of the situation was much more than just a dangerous curve sign on or about March 5th when I saw Julius Kizzy with TxDOT, Mr. Salvato, this was prior to the election, and the property owner on the next door neighbor's property. The next day I saw and asked Julius what was going on. He informed me that he was getting an opinion from TxDOT at the request of Mr. Salvato as to what the city council could do to help protect his neighbor's house and propane tank. Julius told me he had been asked about putting a metal barrier around the curve, which TxDOT didn't recommend, but Chevron signs were a possibility. Julius called it a safety issue. I asked if the owners of the property where the barrier or signage would go knew about what was going on. I was informed he hadn't been spoken to yet. I was a little shocked that in about 7 months of it being discussed, nobody had spoken to that neighbor. I believe any barrier or signage on the right-of-way would impede the property value and the potential sale of our neighbor's property. As I stated in an email to Julius on March 16th, if it is truly an issue of safety in this instance, as well as for those driving or walking on the road, there are other things that could be done that would yield the same outcome as those mentioned in the agenda item. They would be much less intrusive to the property owners and the neighborhood, such as installing stripes from 274 to Meadow Drive with reflectors that would remind drivers to stay in their lane, lowering the prima facie speed limit from 30 miles per hour. I think the 30 miles per hour was proven to be too fast for that curve. Using pneumatic road tubes to analyze the speed of vehicles, no guessing on what to lower the speed to. Having a street light installed on the curve. Both incidents happened at night. It can be really dark in that area.
That's it. Thank you.
Had more, but okay. I just request that the city move forward with engineering and traffic investigation as required in Transportation Code 545.353.
Thank you, Ms. Moses. Debbie Luton.
My name is Debbie Luton, and I live at 214 Plantation Drive, Toll, Texas. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My comments are in reference to the speed deterrence on Plantation Drive. One of our property owners and my neighbor, Ron Young, has been a victim of 2 car accidents damaging his home and property. Ron's property is located by the curve on Plantation Drive. We have a sign that says dangerous curve and speed bumps already located before the curve, but is not a deterrent for drivers under the influence. The second accident damaged the truck, moved his golf cart across his carport, damaged the front entry of his home, and totaled his motorcycle at a high rate of speed. The driver ran away from the scene of the accident. The car smelled like alcohol, and the reason I know this is I was the second person to arrive at the scene after the police arrived. This unnecessary accident cost Ron a financial burden due to the driver did not own the car and was not insured to drive the car. Ron's concern is if it happens again, that a driver could hit his propane tank, which is located on the side of the house by his bedroom. The cause and effect, if that happened, could be an explosion that could cause bodily harm and destruction to his property, but could also affect other neighbors surrounding his property based on the blast radius. This is a serious concern to Ron's safety, his neighbor's safety, but the other concern is how the fire department and EMS would respond to this type of explosion situation if it happened. Ron's closest neighbor is Harold Dotson, who shares a property line with Ron Young. Both property owners have met with Julius and have discussed deterrence that they feel comfortable with as a preventative measure. I feel a preventive measure is the best solution for these circumstances, and I am hopeful that the City Council will approve some type of accident deterrent versus speed deterrent that all parties agree upon being presented to Council tonight. This is a safety concern for Ron and his wife, Amy, but it's also a public safety concern to his neighbors and the Lakeway Estates neighborhood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Luton. Okay, Mr. Salvato, it's your item, so. I want to let you speak first, if you don't mind. Okay, tell us what you have, and then we'll call on those two to see what their opinion is.
The genesis of this agenda item was the second event that Ron recently was subject to, a little over a year ago, I guess now, somewhere in that time frame. I was a resident of Lakeway Estates when his house was first hit. It was taken care of pretty quickly, although he did incur some pretty substantial damage to his vehicle and support structure on his carport. I have never had the opportunity up until last year to really sit down and talk with Ron very much. I'd seen him around. He's always friendly. We waved and everything. But when this second one happened, it was so substantial I couldn't help but stop and talk to Ron and see how he was doing. And we had a pretty serious discussion about what happened, the whole event and everything. I told him that we could come to the city and talk to the city and see if they might be willing to do something to help mitigate this. And I want to make it clear, this isn't a speed issue, this is an impairment issue. Any discussions, and it was mentioned that signs and stuff are not going to help anything of what's happening here. Stripes on the street aren't going to do anything. We need something that will physically stop a car or at least redirect a car that's being under the control of an impaired driver. So I reached out to Julius and asked him if he'd be willing to take a look at this. And part of the thought process was, I know Tool has done a lot over in the Paradise Bay area to mitigate drainage issues over there, and will continue to do more in the future. And I thought the city's actually trying to look out for its citizens and help where they can, and I thought this might be a perfect case. And as it was brought up, worst case scenario here, if somebody came down that road and hardly corrected, they would hit a propane tank that is over there on the side of Ron's house. And without a doubt, if it happened at night and Ron and his wife were there, I have no doubt it would kill both of them, probably destroy his house and do some damage around the subsequent properties. So Julius got out there. We had TxDOT. Again, TxDOT was talking about breakaway barriers and stuff, and I said, that simply is not going to work. This is not a speed issue. We need a deterrent. So we've kicked a lot of ideas around. We thought about some large boulders. There's liability involved with that. We've got TxDOT in recently. Julius is doing some great work with them. We brought Blake in to get his take on it. And the whole concept, if the city's going to be involved, is to have something that's TxDOT approved, so the liability is not falling on the city if something happens. And Julius has come up with some prices. My original thought was what I call an Armco barrier that you see coming up over bridges and what's the metal rail with either steel or timber posts supporting it. And I thought it would at least redirect or mitigate to some level any damage done to Ron's property. And so I don't know if that's where we've landed or not, but I'm sure Julius will have some information that he can present to us. But I think the city, in all honesty, should help Ron. He's a veteran. He is disabled on a fixed income, and he is out somewhere in the area of $40,000 to $50,000 out of pocket for these events. And granted, these are random, isolated events. And I've admitted to Julius and to Ron as well, this may not ever happen again, or it could happen tonight. This is that kind of thing you just never know when it's going to come up. and having happened twice in the last three years and some change, I think something that would provide him some safety would be a great benefit to him. With respect to Harold and Pam, I understand their concern with their lot. If somebody does buy that lot, I know Harold's owned it for approximately 35 years or something, and I hadn't heard any plans on selling it. Maybe they are now, but I certainly appreciate their position and their concern. And if we did put something in there and that lot were to sell, it could basically be pulled out. Or whoever moves in and builds a house there, they may want it there too, just to try to protect their home as well if there's an angle that might do damage to their home. I don't know. It's, kind of subjective. But anyway, that's why I brought it in here, and I give the council a chance to discuss it and hear the various sides of the issue. So that's where I'm at right now on this.
Do you have any? You've got some numbers here. Do you have any pictures of any of this?
So I sent everybody an email with pictures reference. I think I did. Hopefully I did.
Yeah, you did, Julius.
Okay. So there's two kind of things going on with what text I recommended. So I talked with them last Friday, yesterday, and day before on what they recommend past a Chevron sign. So what's in the packet is a Chevron sign. That's the first iteration where we went down. And then when we talked about this being an impairment issue of actually stopping the car, I went back to TxDOT and said, well, can you guys give me something that would actually stop a vehicle? So in the spreadsheet I provided to you guys via email today, I believe, it has 5 different options. And there are 2 major things. It's a concrete traffic barrier, or it's called a metal beam guard fence. Mr. Salvato, as you mentioned, that metal kind of bending thing is what they would call a metal beam guard fence. TxDOT doesn't install these, is what I was told from our engineer, but they do specify them. So it's kind of where you guys want to take this, and then I'll take that and go back to TxDOT and say, well, they're looking at going the whole length of the right-of-way along Mr. Ron Young's house and Mr. Dotson's house, or, hey, we want to be able to pick them up and move them along whenever Mr. Dotson, because that's some feedback I got from Mr. Dotson before, was to not have anything permanent where he is, because he wants to sell the property eventually. So it's kind of giving the idea back to you guys and getting that feedback and seeing what direction you guys want to go.
I've been out to talk to Mr. Young, and I've looked at the pictures of the damage that was caused. I had a lengthy conversation with Mr. Young about the situations, and even looked at the direction that the road is going. It goes directly towards the propane tank, and I would say that he is very lucky that has not been hit yet. Mm-hmm. This isn't a question, again, like Tommy said, it's not a question of speed. It's about direction of the vehicle. And when you're impaired, you're not paying attention to signs. You're not paying attention to the bumps. They're going to hit that house again at some point. And it's not a matter of anything other than he needs to have a railing put there to stop a car. That's going to be the only way to deter anybody hitting his house, is putting in a railing. And I've talked to Chief about it. I've talked to you about it. And I agree with Mr. Salvato that needs to be the route that we go.
Has anyone?
I might add to talking with Ron. He said the officers that conducted the investigation on this latest incident, they estimated the car left the road in the vicinity of about 70 miles per hour. Just to give you an idea of the seriousness of this.
Is there has anyone talked to the property owner across the street? It looks like there's a big piece of land right across the street.
Across the street or next,
well,
or
right
adjacent
here.
to?
He's talking about the ranch.
Are you referring to the
Who owns
Dotson's
the
property?
land? Who owns
The Brown family.
The Brown,
family?
that's the Brown property.
Because if they took this road right here, and if they give us a right of way or sell us the property, we could come and just take this road straight, cut this corner off, cut this out,
Okay.
and just put the road here. So where the road would come in and go straight, it would straighten it out more instead of taking the curve out of that road, to not be so dangerous. Because, right, I mean, you can humps whatever you want, but
Right.
people are speeding. I know they do that. But if we could somehow talk to the property owner here and either get a right of way and to allow us to build the road there, or purchase the property, I think you could straighten that road out If there's no, doesn't look like there's a home anywhere near that property, right? Or how
I'm looking at,
close?
I think I'm looking at upside down.
Yeah, so I mean, if they would help us with that, that might be an easier solution, a safer solution than having a target directly into his house, and then avoid the problem of having to put anything in front of the Dodson's house. If we could just, cut this corner right here, just cut it off.
I looked at that, Greg, coming from the other direction. There's a big tree there that could be removed and soften that curve there for sure. I kind of thought of that too when I went out there and looked at it. So I think that's something.
There's several big trees.
Yeah, there might be more than
yeah,
one.
they can come down. I mean, I just think that's one solution. The other solution is just get somebody if we have to just protect the homes, then we just have to get somebody that knows what would be reinforcement enough to stop a car.
So the two things that are suggested in front of you guys are for cars going under 45 miles per hour. That's one thing.
I mean, a sign's not going to work. A sign's just
So you
something
said a
else.
sign, or you said the?
No, the signs. That's just something else to run over. I mean,
no,
that's just something else.
The signs don't help the point.
They're just going to run over the sign.
Yeah, the signs don't help the point that's presented.
Does anyone know what it would cost to bury the gas tank so it couldn't be hit?
I wouldn't know.
It's not much. I mean, if you want to bury the gas tank, that's easy.
Yeah.
About 30.
Okay, let's hear from.
Wait, okay, let me ask you a question here, Julius. Okay, I need a CNI dog to read this. I'm sorry, I'm just such fine print here, but TxDOT says no. Excuse me. So,
go ahead.
TxDOT, no boulders don't work.
No.
Okay, so
No,
now
no,
we're just
no.
talking about a classic. We just talked about a classic, simple a guardrail that's approved by TxDOT would be an option.
Mhm.
Is that the one for 11 grand? I'm just trying to make sure I understand.
The metal won't be 11 grand.
And that's just a typical, like we see down 175 other highways. You put the wood post in and have the guardrail company come in and put a guardrail in for 150 feet or whatever how
Right,
far it's
right.
going to be.
Right.
Like I'm just trying. That's
Yeah.
one option.
That'd be one option.
Okay.
Mhm.
What's the other option you're talking about? You said something about
Concrete.
temporary.
No, concrete barriers.
A concrete barrier.
Mhm. So concrete barriers would stand.
Not a K rail. Not a K rail.
No.
Okay.
No, they're concrete.
Okay.
They're concrete. And they come in and you
Be like
place
the
them.
cylinders they put in front of stadiums or government buildings.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly like
okay,
that.
all right,
So
okay.
like if you go like a state capitol,
Okay.
you see them like all
You-
aligned. it'd be like
Okay,
that.
I was just trying to understand what you're, okay.
Okay, let's hear from the homeowners. Mr. Young, you signed up for. Why don't you come up here and to the microphone?
Evening, council.
Yeah, can you talk into the microphone?
Evening, council, Miss Mayor. I'm here to speak on that. I live at 210 Plantation Drive, and I've lived in this area for about 53 years, off and on. I served in the United States Navy for almost 3 years, which at that time I wound up with a lung disease. And they decided that I was a disabled veteran. And with this regards to these accidents, the first one that happened was in, I believe, April of 2022, about 1-something in the morning. I was just fixing to go to bed, and the whole house shook. This was a guy that was in his little, I don't even remember what kind of car it was a small car. But he took out all the posts on my carport except one. He hit my back end of my truck. It was under the carport totally, next to my boat that was under there also. He hit the car, or my truck, and knocked it halfway out from under the carport. That's how fast he was going. He wound up out in the middle section of my front yard. He was trying, after I got out of the house, he was still sitting there in the car trying to start the car to leave. The whole front end was smashed in. The car was totaled. And he's still sitting there trying to start it. And then he wanted to sit there and argue with me. And he was fixing to leave. And I said, you ain't going nowhere. I said, police are on the way. And anyway, he talked to somebody and they told him to get out of the car and leave and take the keys with him. So there was no way they could prove that he was driving the car. So all he got was what do they call it, public intoxication. That's all they got him for. And this last one, she didn't get anything. She completely left the scene. They've been looking for her, supposedly, but they haven't found her yet either. She's supposed to be going for the grand jury in Athens, and she's nowhere to be found. So she got off scot-free. She was on probation the night that she hit my stuff. She did over $5,000 worth of damage to my pickup. She did over $8,000 worth of damage to my house. She totaled my trike that can't be replaced. For now, they're running about $43,000 to $53,000. I got a total of $11,000 from my trike from the insurance company. That's all they would insure it for. And but it's just ridiculous. I mean, she hit my golf cart. They totaled it. That was over $4,000. I mean, it's just, and the main thing too that I'm worried about is somebody hitting that butane tank, because that's a bomb. And there's nothing but shrapnel and everything that's going to come off of that. That's going to cover Joyce's Alexander that lives back behind me, and it also is going to infect Harold, because it's just like a grenade going off. And I mean, that shrapnel goes everywhere. Even Debbie's house, it would probably get some of that too. And something just needs to be done. I mean, it's just.
Ron, who's your propane provider? Who's your
Nelson.
Nelson?
Yeah.
Okay.
What would your idea be of a solution to protect your home?
We need something to stop these cars, because they're not going to pay no attention to signs. They're not going to pay no attention to lines. None of that. They're like I said, the first one, I think they said he was running over 60 when he come off that curve. This last one, they said she's running over 70. She come off sideways till she got to my carport. When she hit the carport, it straightened her out. She went into my truck, then into my trike, took the trike down the side of the, inside of the carport, inside of the house, destroyed my door, took the door completely off the hinges, pushed the storm door inside with all the glass and all the siding and everything she took up. She took it out on the other side of the carport with her car. My golf cart was turned upside down because it was behind the trike. The trike was totally, like I said, it was just carnage. You couldn't even hardly tell what it was. And she left the car there with a busted oil pan, busted the steps on my front porch. And it just, I mean.
Ron, it's been I think we
Wouldn't the solution, Julius, be simply a TxDOT approved guardrail? I mean,
that's what Blake recommended.
I mean,
he said if we do anything in the right of way.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, it's not a speed issue. You can't put, cables up there, a post. I mean,
so
seems
Blake
like a
recommended
guardrail is the solution.
Blake recommended anything that we would do in the right of way to impede something like this happening would be TxDOT approved. So working with them, specify it, they could draw it up, et cetera, and get us back something that we could have a contractor do.
Well, I'm in 100% agreement that we need to do something to help in the situation, whether talk to the Browns, find out if they'll give us a right of way or sell us that property, straighten that road out. But immediately, I'd like to get a price, and maybe we can do a grant to bury that. I don't think it's going to be much to bury your propane tank.
Well, it's supposed to be now, because now they're supposed to be all sealed.
It's about $3,500.
Yeah, to bury it? No.
Yeah, you have to get a special tank. It's a special tank. Now, we got to be careful here because we can't spend public money on private property.
Well, if it's some sort of,
But-
I mean, it's
but-
public safety. I mean, it's literally a
but I'm
public
just
safety
saying,
issue.
We'd have to work it out. But
I'm surprised.
It's,
Well, yeah.
Okay,
But anything's got to be better than what I've got now. 'cause
I understand.
got-
I understand.
okay,
That's-
all right, let's hear from the homeowner that owns the property, and that's Mr. Dotson. Mr. Dotson? Do you need a chair or something? Okay, let me know if you do.
If I can get my oxygen, I'll be all right. I'm Harold Dodson. I live at 204 Plantation, which is right next to Ronnie. Ronnie and I have been good neighbors for 35 years, thereabouts. His dad used to live in the house he's in now, and he, at the time, as I moved here, his dad was the mayor. So Ronnie and I go way back. As long-time, full-time homeowners, Pamela, my wife, and I are very familiar with the dangers presented by that curve on Plantation Drive. And I completely empathize with Ronnie and how he feels. I would feel the same way if it was my house, okay? However, in looking at this issue, in my mind, there's a lot more important things to be considered than just his property. When Julius came out and talked with, by the way, I want to mention that I have spoken with the mayor and I've spoken with Bob Stikes. They're the only two people on this council who have bothered to even call me. I'm surprised that we've gotten this far into this and I haven't even heard from Tommy. Okay? I just present that. This curve is extremely dangerous. For years, I've talked to everybody I could talk to about some kid, some teenager on a four-wheeler or a golf cart coming around that curve on a Saturday afternoon way too fast, all teenagers do, and coming smack straight on into a pickup truck. There have been more close calls than I would like to count out there on that curve. So it is more than just a speed issue and Ronnie's property that I think about. I think we've got to do something about the speed on that curve. I don't want to see a kid on a four-wheeler meet up with a pickup truck with both of them going 30 miles an hour right there on that curve. Okay, that's my number one concern. Ronnie, I've told Ronnie that in the past. I empathize with him. I'm on his side, but I see this as more important from my point of view, okay? We've talked about all kinds of ideas about what could be done there. The best thing I've heard tonight is the idea that I had never even heard before, burying that tank. That would solve a whole lot of issues. If that tank were buried, Ronnie, about 5 of these large rocks that we've talked about right along your property edge would protect your house. Am I right? If that tank were buried, that's gone away. And the 5 rocks on his property, which could be helped, I hope the council maybe could help him with that, would protect his house from any car, okay? That would be my solution, or my recommendation. But I did, as I said, I kind of had to change my comments because I was assuming that this conversation would have gone much differently by now. But I want to make this point. There simply isn't any practical remedy that I can think of that would reliably protect Ronnie's house from that curve, or my house from that curve, from the other direction. You can put up concrete barriers, you can put up all kinds of stuff, and you get some drunk coming along there at 70 miles an hour, it'll defeat about anything you can put up, other than a solid concrete wall.
So, Mr. Dawson, what's your solution? Is it cutting the road, changing the? As I said,
I like that idea very much.
If we could get the Browns to give us that, make it straight, come in.
I like that idea.
Okay, so we need to look at
My
that.
solution, or what I'm recommending, is a lot more discussion
Yeah.
between the council, myself. I would like to be a part of it. Basically, to control the speed, here's what ideas I've come across in the last few days. First of all, and it's been mentioned already, reduce the speed limit. If you have to do it, do a traffic study. Find out how fast people are going along there, and reduce the speed limit. 2, and the second item I would have is place warning signs in the area approaching the curve from both directions with a flashing light or something on them saying, well, there is one already there, it doesn't have a light. It's just got the curve and says dangerous curve. Needs to be one from the other direction, to protect my house, okay? My house is not gonna be hurt from people coming from Highway 274. It would be hurt by someone coming from within Lakeway Estates out to 274. I would strongly recommend painting a white reflective stripe along the sides of the pavement, all the way from 274 around to, what is it? Meadow. That would make it easier at night to see where the road is. Because I'll tell you, even me who lives there, it's sometimes difficult to see where that road is, especially going around that corner.
Right.
Okay? Reflective white paint stripes along the sides like they have on big highways would help a lot with that. Okay? Another option would be to put reflective markers, kind of like the ones that are glued down to the pavement, on the center stripe or on the center of the highway all the way around. So that would also be an indicator to anybody coming from 274 that there is a curve here, and that's a nasty curve. If you come in there at night with the way it is now, you don't know how nasty that curve is, okay? It's too late. I would also like to discuss and recommend the placement of one solar-powered streetlight about midway around that curve. I think that might help. And then permitting Ronnie or I, if we want to put something on our property that would protect our houses, okay? I don't know if anyone has ever noticed it, but outside my house and looking back toward Ronnie's house, there's what I call a little grove of shrubs and small trees and things. They're there because when we look out our kitchen window down Plantation Drive at night, we see headlights coming straight at us. I thought years ago, I don't want any of those headlights coming in this window.
Yeah.
So I planted those out there. Now, I don't know if they'll stop them or not, but I'm hoping at least they'll slow them down.
Are those trees on the corner also impairing the vision? The bigger trees on that corner on the other side of the street on the turn, so you can't see around the corner also? So the big trees that are there.
Which ones you're talking about? What's the question?
Yeah, the trees that are on the other side of the street where we're talking, if we could take that road straight, we take those trees down, but those are also blocking the view from the either side, right? Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
Coming out of the subdivisions is the issue with the trees.
Either way.
Yeah.
Right. Coming in, you can't see the
Well,
traffic
I mean,
coming
I
down
think,
Plantation.
Johnson, I think, it's been a long night. I think this is an important issue, and I think it's something that it's gonna. I'm very a proponent, and Tommy did put this on the agenda tonight to get this matter solved.
Right.
I think item number one is the tank needs to be buried at whatever cost, and let's figure out. Look, we'll figure out. Let's just get a cost from Nelson. We'll figure the price out, how we pay for that later.
Protecting Ronnie's house and his property is
Right.
concerned, burying that tank and putting 4 or 5 of those big stone, landscaping boulders.
Well, everybody go home and watch the movie Song Song Blue. It's the lady in her front yard gets run over, same situation. So it can happen.
I know.
And I think that just like we did with some other things, any loss of life is, if we're sitting here today talking about this and something happens tomorrow, shame on us. So I think that it's something that we as a council have to help. It's our road. We own the street, right? Okay, so we need to fix that street one way or the other, no matter whatever we have to do, whether it's straightening it out, whether it's the combination of everything you're talking about and removing the trees, but that tank needs to be buried right away. I don't think that's something, whatever that costs, let's figure it out, and we can figure out how we help. And if the city can't help, we'll figure out how we help. But I think that we need to help y'all with this. I wouldn't want to be sleeping at night and seeing headlights coming in my window straight at me every night. And I don't think the speed bumps work, because you can't, somebody that's not, I don't care what, obviously the speed limit's there and they don't care if they're driving 70, so you can't stop somebody from being drunk and speeding, right? So.
I think a speed
Miss-
bump
Go ahead.
would help the guys that I see on Saturday afternoon, would help with the guys that I see on Saturday afternoon. Because there, as I said, the big danger I can see is two people, probably visitors to the area,
That too, yep.
just head on, right there. And if it happens to be a young person on a HEV or a golf cart, it's gonna be.
Yeah. Well, what's,
Chief, if you and I had talked about the speed limit, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the lowest you can lower the speed limit in a neighborhood is 25, correct? Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to say something.
The way I read the transportation code, that it's set at 30, and we can lower it by a traffic study and engineer's report. But it didn't say, I didn't read it to say how much we could lower it to.
You can raise it. Yep.
Well, I don't think that would be the case.
I mean, I
but
don't,
Yeah, but you never know.
traffic studies, we don't need a traffic, some things are just common sense. We don't need a traffic study, guys.
Well, the transportation code, if you're going to lower that speed limit in that neighborhood, you have to,
Necessary in order to
by
lower that speed
statute.
limit.
Yeah, to 25, that's it.
I want to raise a point that I think some people have been missing. I understand that the drivers, both of them, have been impaired. But you have to realize these impaired drivers drove from wherever they came and made it all the way to our neighborhood and then messed up at that curve. So I don't buy the argument that if we put signage up or something, it's going to stop the impaired driver, because they drove from wherever they came from. So I do think signage is going to be a major factor in solving this problem. The fact that these people drove from whatever bar or whatever house they came for and had no problem till they got to that curve. So I think signage and lighting is the answer.
Yes, and I think it could be a sober person miss that curve.
Yeah.
Because by the time I get to my driveway, if it weren't for Ronnie's house, I'd be looking at dark.
Well, none of those
You
streets
can't
back
see
there are very
anything.
wide either. None of the streets in
It's
Tool,
not wide enough.
they're barely enough for two cars to pass at the same time. So we've got a width on our street problem too. So, but I mean, rather than just go round and round, guys, I think we as a council, we need to make a decision if we're gonna, every problem's solved with money, okay? And we need to decide as a council how to fix this road and what we're gonna spend on it, and get some real studies and put 10 solutions on it if that's what it takes. But I think to sit here and just hear all this we're not solving anything. Let's just get some action to it. Let's do something.
My number one recommendation is just keep talking about it until we get a.
Well, I don't think it's hard to solve. I really don't think it. I think there may be some challenges on getting the right of way or doing some things, but to sit here and say we can't do this is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, we have to fix the problem. It's a danger. Somebody's going to die on that corner, and if I told you so or whatever it is isn't going to be anything I want to hear. And I think it's a public safety issue for any citizen, and one life is, period, or injury. Even the people impaired, right? I don't want to see somebody, while they're drunk driving, but I don't want to see them with someone else in the car and people in the car or whatever it is and kill other people, right? So let's fix it. I'm committed as a council member while I'm here to try to, the next few months, come up with a solution. And if we can't, then whoever else can try to figure this out. But I think we need some action, and shame on if we don't. And I think it needs to be immediate. And it doesn't, if we don't have this solved in the next 6 months or less, or 4 months, I think it's this council's not doing its job.
Can
Okay,
I get one thing then? Can I get your assurance that before you do anything, you let me know what you're planning to do?
Well, absolutely. It'll be part of the planning process, I'm sure.
Until the last day or so, I haven't had a clue, other than my conversations with Julius. And Julius, the three of us, you and I and Ronnie, came to an agreement, right? We thought we had it solved right there. That was proposing to put the boulders in the right of way around that curve. And then we found from the city attorney that no, that ain't gonna work.
Mr. Dotson, you heard the suggestion about concrete barriers, and you also heard the suggestion about guardrails.
I don't see those as having any benefit or any.
They would go on your property. That's what I know. You have a concern about that.
Well, it certainly is gonna go on the value of my property. I don't know it. They're not planning on putting those on my property.
No, it'd be
No,
on
it'd be in the
the
right, it'd be in the right of
right-of-way.
way.
How much is the right of way along there? Does anybody know?
20 feet back.
Wait a
It's
minute.
gonna look like it's on your property, no matter where we put it, because people don't, it's just gonna look like it is.
And just because we have not sold that land or built on those lots, doesn't mean that we won't be. Look at
Oh,
our
yeah,
age.
definitely.
We
Yeah.
will be selling
De-
soon.
Definitely.
And we need the value of the property, even though all of our property
Well,
has gone
yeah, it doesn't
down in
sound
the
like we're in
last
real good
few
shape on that.
months. But,
Yeah.
I mean, none of you would want that on your property.
Yeah.
No, I think we're all committed to helping you, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, Ronnie, you all right with that?
And I think both property owners should, whatever meetings you had, should probably participate in those if we can get some meetings together. And have both property owners have input into those. Okay. Thank you very much for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion on agenda item number 10?
We're just going to table it?
Well, it was just for discussion.
It's just
Oh, that's right, just discussion.
Uh-huh.
That's right, just discussion.
Thank y'all for coming in tonight and talking to us about that.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
we're
Young.
going to agenda item number 11. Action to order the November 3rd, 2026 City of Tool general election for the purposes of electing 3 council members each for a term of 2 years. Do we have any discussion, or this is just administrative?
It's
Do you
just
have a
administrative.
motion?
I'll make a motion, it's administrative, November 3rd. I make a motion to order the November 3rd, 2026 City of Tool general election for the purpose of electing 3 city council members each for a term of 2 years.
I second.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so Demont did the,
It was Robert, and Dick seconded.
okay, first Demont, and second by Robert
Yes.
Stikes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. First with Mike Demont, Councilman Demont, and second with Councilman Stikes.
Yeah, bring it, where's that?
Yes.
We'll start passing
Okay,
around.
we're gonna
We'll pass around
sign-
for you.
Sign this.
And, there's no discussion on item 12.
Okay, we're gonna start down here. You want your pen back?
Yes, please, ma'am.
Mine pen's writing now.
Can we talk while we sign?
I can start presenting item number 12 if you want me to.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So, item number 12 is an interlocal agreement with Henderson County for the November 3rd, 2026 general election. The city contracts with Henderson County every year for election purposes. The contract is proposed. It's the same as last, because they did roll it the same amount. It is $3,883.53. Of course, that's an estimated total, but it is pretty spot on. They would help with all the early voting, election day voting, they would supply poll workers, all the voting ballots, all the stuff that was used to conduct the election.
Great.
Is there any? Thank you for that presentation. Is there any discussion on agenda item number 12, or if not, can I have a motion?
Make a motion that we take action to enter into interlocal agreement from Henderson County for the November 3rd, 2026 general election.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0, Kimberly. First, Councilman Figueroa, second, Councilman Demont. Now we're to agenda item number 15, consider, discuss, and take action to adopt Resolution 2026-04, local park grant application as presented by Mayor Vera Bennett and Councilman Mike Demont. This is just a housekeeping measure. We have to have a resolution to present with a grant that's due August the 3rd. And I just asked that somebody make a motion to
Yeah, okay.
adopt that resolution as presented.
I'll make a motion
Wait a minute,
to
wait a minute,
adopt.
wait a minute, just before you
Hold
do,
on.
just
Mike
before you do,
DeMont, yeah.
just one housekeeping chore. If you look at section 5, we just had to change this, it was brought to my attention. If you look at it, Julius and Mayor, it says the application hereby certifies that a copy of the application has been submitted to the appropriate regional council of governments. It should say will be. We haven't done it yet, Vera.
Okay.
It's just
All
a
right.
nat, it's just a nat.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, hold on.
Now you're good to go,
Okay,
Robert.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-04, local park grant application with the changes mentioned by Mike Demont.
Second.
Second, Daniel Sayer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Kimberly. First was Robert Stock, second Daniel Sayer. 16, council comments. Mike, we'll start with you, Mike.
Thank you all for coming, and again, a lot of good feedback here, and I think everybody realizes that the council is behind no data centers, because it's imperative that we protect our water, our power, and we don't give that up. That right is we have homeowners. So again, appreciate everybody coming to express their concern and give us good feedback, and you guys have a great evening.
Just want to thank everybody for coming out. Mr. Young, thank you for being patient with us. I appreciate it. Hope everybody has a good weekend coming up, and take care.
Okay, I want to
Mr. Dobson.
I want to thank everybody for
Sorry,
coming.
Mr. Dotson, I apologize.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming. It's been a kind of a long council meeting, but a good one. I really appreciate every citizen that wrote and every citizen that was here tonight to tell us how they feel. We work for the citizens. Y'all are our bosses, and we really appreciate all of the citizen comments. Thank you, Mr. Dotson and Mr. Young, for coming. I really appreciate it. I look forward to, sitting down with y'all trying to come to a resolution with this matter. I think there were some good points made tonight about lowering speed limits, lines, lights, all kinds of things. There was just some good comments there. And I thank everybody for coming. Okay, Tommy?
Yeah, again, thank everybody for coming tonight. Once again, want to reassure the citizens that the City Council is on board wholly with the idea of eliminating data center possibilities in Toole and hopefully around the lake. So we'll be working hard and diligent on that. Thanks to Ron and all the citizens who came out to speak on his situation, and also Harold and Pam. And the whole point of this was to get a discussion going. I think Greg has come up with a novel idea to probably pursue, maybe to get a really solid solution to the issue. I don't have enough experience here. Greg's been on council for quite a while. He knows what the city's capable of. So the whole point of this was to get other ideas in here, and I think we might have a good one to work with. So thank you for that. Thank the staff and everything for their work. And also, one thing I do want to mention, I don't know if anybody's aware of this, the library at Cedar Creek every year has a fundraiser. They're having one on August 1st this year. So if anybody's interested in helping fund the library, please check on their website. It's www.cedarcreeklibrary.com and look into that, and like to see if you think there might be anything you can do to help fund the library and their causes over there. So we greatly appreciate that.
Well, thanks everybody for hanging in. Long meeting. I think in the future a couple things could be avoided with some clarity. I think the problem, next 3 meetings I'd like to solve Mr. Dodson, Mr. Young's problem. If not, I challenge the council or the future council to try and get this done. I think it's important. Anytime life or safety is in danger in this city, I think that's what public funds are for. I think we can find a way to get it done. We just have to challenge ourselves really, really hard. As far as anything else, just thank you all for hanging in there and being here tonight.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'm a man of few words. Thanks again.
Agenda item number 17, future agenda items. Mike?
I have nothing at this time.
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 The only thing I'd like to do is, if we're ready by August, to put complete the ordinance that we need to ban data centers and all land use that we have. We've already have a good start. So if we can get it done by August, great. If not, at least let's get the process.
I have nothing. Good night, Greasy.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn at 8:33 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Kimberly, meeting's adjourned at 8:34. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Have a great evening. Be safe.